Aye, shepherd's pie, greetings from the Philippines. I'm back and I'm going to make a video tonight that I never thought I would make, bestowing the virtues of Dumaguete. The reason I never thought I'd make it is when I first came to the Philippines, I hated the place, absolutely hated the place, and yet 8 months later, I have made it my home. I've done a full 360. I really have. Which is why I'm making a video. Because it's a controversial video, this, I know, in terms of YouTube. Because you get a lot of vloggers who will tell you that Dumaguete is the greatest place on earth. Well, that might be an exaggeration, but they'll say it's great here. And you'll get a lot of vloggers who will say it's Dumaguete, stay away, don't, it's a terrible place, can't get you, you know. I understand both perspectives now pretty well. And I'm not being arrogant when I say but I think I do. I think I know, because I've come to some conclusions now as to why people dislike the place, or potentially think they dislike the place. And why some people think it's so bloody fantastic. So if you're thinking about coming to the Philippines and potentially living in Dumaguete, then hopefully this video is for you, because that's exactly why I'm making it. Because I think it's very easy to make a quick judgment about Dumaguete and be totally wrong. Because as I say, when I first came here 8 months ago, I was bitterly disappointed. I had watched all the YouTube channels saying how marvellous Dumaguete was, you know, how fantastic it was. It was the reason I came here. But when I got off the airport, off the flight, I went to Sibilan, I'd rented an Airbnb for a month. Got at the airport, thought this doesn't look particularly great. Got on the trike, took me to where I was staying. Didn't like anything I saw. Next day I thought, don't worry about the first night, it'll be better. Went into the city centre, went along the famous boulevard, and I thought, oh my God, this is not for me. Didn't like it the first month. And my plan when I came to the Philippines had been to spend a month on 6 of the islands, find which one I liked the best, and then stay there for a year and decide whether the Philippines was for me or whether to go back to Thailand. And this video is the reason why I decided that. And this video kind of proves the point, certainly to me, why it's important to do that. Because the first month I got here, I hated it. I really did. And I was quite angry with a lot of the vlogs I used to watch, we'd say how great it was, because I felt cheated. You know, I was really disappointed. And I booked a month in Dumaguete or Sibilan, and then the next month I booked in Siquijor. When the end of the month came, I was so happy to get on that ferry to Siquijor. And then when I got to Siquijor, I was so happy. When I got off that boat, I just thought, this is the place for me. I want to spend the rest of my life here. I don't need to go and see any other islands. Siquijor was breathtakingly beautiful, the white beaches. It was everything I'd been hoping the Philippines was. And Dumaguete had been everything I was hoping Siquijor wasn't. The Philippines wasn't. So, I had a month in Siquijor. Thought this is going to be the place for me. And then I went back to Dumaguete. Because I got the place booked, the Airbnb already booked there. But when I went back the second month in Dumaguete, I started travelling around a bit more, seeing parts of the city that I hadn't seen before. Found the North Point, which is a great area at the end of the boulevard, which I personally like a lot more than the Why Not area in the Octagon, but no, not the Octagon Bar, the Bogarts and Casablancas, which are some restaurants you've got down in the traditional part of Dumaguete, because they've been there a long time. when you go up to North Point, that's all quite new. It's a new development. You've got some fantastic bars and restaurants there. You know, get some really great food. You've got a food court there. It's just amazing. Really like it down there. And I started to see there was a lot more to Dumaguete than I had first realised. You know, in that month, I had a very negative experience of Dumaguete. And I started to realise the problem was there was no wow factor. You know, certain places you go in the world, like when I arrived in Sikihor, you get off the ferry and you think, my God, this place is amazing. Never got that in Dumaguete. I'm just going to say for the record, because I'm going to say something in a little while. This kitchen is very eggery. We've just moved into a new house. Don't have a lot of furniture and things, and it's a big space, so it echoes. So because of that, I've left the windows and the doors open. So it's nearly 1 o'clock in the morning. And I can do that because it's so quiet here. But of course, as soon as I start recording, you've got some dogs and things barking. But if the doors and windows were closed, you wouldn't hear them. And because it's so quiet here, I can generally leave the doors and windows open. I've made a few videos like this and the noise has not been a problem, but for some reason the dogs are out to get me tonight. Anyway, I digress. So I realised the second time the problem with Dumaguete from my mind was there's no wow factor. There's nothing fantastic about a place when you first arrive. It takes time. The place gradually grows on you. Because of the size of the place, there's always something new opening and there's always a new place to go to. But still, it wasn't for me. Although it had grown on me, it wasn't enough to make me stay there. So I moved to Sikihor. I thought Sikihor is the place for me. Sikihor is going to be, you know, that's the place for me. I'm happy to spend a few years here, maybe even longer. You know, in the initial first couple of months, I thought, no, Sikihor, I can't see myself leaving here, which was strange because I love Thailand. But I'd promised myself I would come to the Philippines, I would give it 1 to 2 years before I decided where to go. Because I learned in my expat life, it's very easy to go somewhere a couple of months, decide you hate it, but then find out later that you love it. Because it takes time, because places grow on you. And that is exactly what has happened to me. Because viewers who watch the channel will know that things all went south in Dumaguete, in Sikihor in the end. I had problems over there and I just had enough. But although Sikihor is breathtakingly beautiful in many aspects, has some fantastic nightlife and a great social circle, it's a small island. It is a small island. And after a few months there, it's easy to get island fever. You know, things become really difficult. It's like, I like Diet Coke. To get a big bottle of Diet Coke, it's like a half-hour drive up to Lorena. The only place you can get it is in Prince's supermarket there. It's not even a supermarket. You start to miss things. The same restaurants you used to go to in the evening, you know, become laborious. Doing the same thing over and over again. There's not a lot of choice there. You know, they've got a fantastic beach there, Palatine Beach and that. But I went there 5 times in the whole time I was there. So it's easy to think, oh God, this place is amazingly beautiful and it's got all these things going for it. But there wasn't enough there for me to keep me stimulated. And I didn't think there would be when I came back to Dumaguete. But when I came back to Dumaguete the second time, I went up to Valencia, which, if you don't know Dumaguete, is a couple of kilometres up in the mountain. Because a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, Ray, a friend of the channel, you might see him in previous videos if you've been watching, an Australian guy, great friend. He'd lived in Valencia for a few months before he got to Sikihor, and he said, try Valencia. Don't make a judgment on Dumaguete or that area until you've tried living in Valencia. So when I came back, I thought, right, I have my girlfriend over here, she's from Tanhai, but not far from Dumaguete or whatever. I'll spend some time with her. I'll regroup for a couple of months and I'll go somewhere else. I'll try somewhere else in the Philippines. Wasn't going to give up on the Philippines because I've only been here 8 months. And I promised myself I would give it 1 to 2 years. Because again, I think you need to give things time before you can make an accurate judgment on a place. And I was very impressed with Valencia. Again, no wow factor. It's not a great place. It's not a fantastic place. It's not like, breathtaking beaches. Well, because there's no beaches, it's up in bloody mountains. Of course there's no beaches. But it was okay. It's quiet up there and cooler up there. And they've got some great restaurants up there. Spread around, but some really good restaurants. The place I was staying was a place called Latino's. Strange place. No signs for it. You've got to turn left at a garage called a Gas and Go. You go down a dirt track and then suddenly you find this restaurant. Strange decor, strange rooms. I got an apartment there for the month. Guy who owns it, Marco, fantastic bloke. One of the best restaurants I've been to. Best Thai food I've ever had outside Thailand. Hoping to do a video with Marco in the next few weeks. So, great bloke, great place. But a great find. And there's a lot of places up in Valencia. Good food, good quality food. And the expats in that part of Dumaguete, up the Jose Romero Road, you've got a place called the Brew Garden and you've got a hotel called the Kingswick and that. Blew my mind what a great expat community you've got there. And I'm not usually an expat guy. When I was in Siggil in Thailand, I generally mixed with Thais in Thailand and Filipinos in Siggil. But again, without going to reasons, I thought I'd try the expat community over here. Some good guys, surprisingly good guys. Nice. There's a nice expat community over there. And before people who say, I didn't travel half the world to mix with expats. Yeah, I used to think that way as well. But people say, why would you travel halfway around the world to meet with people that you could meet with in your own country? Well, you're not. Because if you go to any of the expat haunts around Valencia, you're mixing with Scandinavians, you're mixing with Americans, you're mixing with Australians, there's all sorts of nationalities. And it's generally a good bunch. I've not met a bad expat since I came here this time. And you couldn't say that when you live in Thailand. And I love Thailand. But a nice mix and some good social life. Some great quiz nights, some great darts nights, just some nice nights and some good restaurants and some good food. So I thought about it and I thought, no, Valencia could be for me. So we started looking at property in Valencia to rent, not to live, because Ellen and I decided we'd take the relationship to the moving in stage. But when we were looking for property in Valencia, we couldn't find anywhere we particularly wanted. And then we came across the place we're staying at now, which we're very happy with, in Bacong. Now, I'd never really been to Bacong. I'd been to Darwin, which is a few more kilometres up the road. I'd gone through Bacong on the bus, but I'd never actually been here. But when we found a place, we fell in love with it. Great price, great, landlord's fantastic, all the rest of it. So we give it a try. Why not give Bacong a go? It's not too far from Valencia. It's like a 10-15 minute ride on my scooter. And since we got here, oh my God, I prefer this to Valencia. I really do. There's a great couple of great Filipino restaurants down here, where you can play darts and things. You're a few hundred metres from the nautical highway and the beach and things. And like now, I'm sitting here at, 1:15 in the morning. I've got the doors open and the windows open because of the echo, and all you can hear is a cockle in the background. And that's quite unusual. If the doors and windows were closed, you wouldn't hear a bloody thing. I made a couple of videos in last week, sat outside the garden at 1 o'clock in the morning. That's what I tend to do with videos. This is a really quiet place. And we're only a 10-minute drive from Dumaguete. And that's the thing about Dumaguete. That's why I've decided to stay here. Not necessarily forever. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying, if you come to Dumaguete for a week or two, and you live in the city, you will probably get an impression of a dirty city, bad roads. I mean, in terms of heavy traffic. I don't mean heavy traffic like compared to Cebu or to Manila or whatever, but the congestion at certain times. It's not a nice place to drive around, on your scooter. at certain times of day. And it's not like, a beautiful city, but it's got a couple of shopping malls where you can get the things you want. You don't have a trek to get, your Diet Coke or whatever your vice is like mine. There are some good restaurants and there's some nice surrounding areas. You don't have to live in the city and put up with all the noise and that. You can move a couple of kilometres up into the mountains to Valencia. You can travel down the nautical highway and come to Bacon. You can head up a bit further and go to Darwin. It's nice here in the sense that you've got so many options. Yes, you're making sacrifices. Yes, if you went over to Cebu, I'm not talking about the city, but if you want city life and you want a big city that's got everything, then Cebu might be for you. A lot of people, it's not for them because the traffic's so heavy, it takes so long to get around. But if you want a happy medium, in the sense that you can get to a decent hospital if you need one, you can eat out in nice restaurants a few times a week, and you can change the restaurants you go to. If you want access to some decent shops and a decent mall and, get Western goods and things, because there's quite a large expat community in Dumaguete, it's easy to get the little things you might want, the little bits and bobs that you can't get in your home country, your particular brand of peanut butter or Marmite or whatever. There's a few specialty shops here. You can get your nice cuts and that, because the expat communities, you can get that kind of thing here. But equally, there's lots of decent Filipino restaurants. I mean, if you like Filipino food, there's some great restaurants up on the North Point. So for me, it works. And I think it would work for a lot more people if they actually spent some time and explored the areas. Because you can go over to somewhere like Cebu. You can find a fantastic place, and I'm talking about the island of Cebu now, I'm not talking about, Cebu City. You'll find a fantastic place on the beach. You'll probably get an amazing place on the beach for $25,000 a month. And if you want to go out on the beach every day and you want to walk up and down the beach and do whatever you do, fantastic. But you're going to get power cuts then. Now, some people say in the comments you won't and that, but I find that hard to believe. I'm not going to lie, but I find it hard to believe. You're also going to find you've got a half hour, 40 minute, 50 minute, hour drive to get to a decent supermarket. It's all about sacrifices. Great living in Sigil, where I was. If I want to go to Palawan Beach, it was only 5 minutes on a scooter, amazing, lovely white beach. But at the same time, I only went there, 5 days a week. Everywhere you live in the Philippines, you will make sacrifices. If you're going to move to Cebu City, you've got the IT market park and all that kind of stuff. If you move to Manila, you're going to be like, any Western city, 24-hour lifestyle, if that's what you want. But you're not going to have easy access to quiet beaches and things like that. Here, you are sacrificing the breathtaking white sand and all the rest. You're not going to get that. But if you just want to walk across the sand, you're never far from a beach in, the Dumaguete area. As I say, we're living in Bacong now. It's a nice, quiet area. If I want to go up to Valencia, cool off in the mountains, do some jungle walking, waterfalls, etc., 10-minute drive that way on a scooter. If I want to go into Dumaguete, do some shopping, get some things I need to get or whatever, 10-minute drive on a scooter. If I just want to stay in Bacong, we want to go out for a meal in a decent restaurant, 5-minute walk down there. There's some nice restaurants in Bacong, both Filipino and expat. The cost of living is very low here. I believe Negros is the cheapest island to live in the Philippines. I might have got that wrong, but certainly Dumaguete is cheaper than Sigil. And I've met a few expats who lived in Cebu. My old mate Ray, the Aussie guy, he's moved up to Cebu now, and he's saying it's a lot more expensive than Dumaguete. Now, if you're not living on a budget, if you've got loads of cash, power to you, might not bother you. But if you are on a budget, then you need to think about stuff like that. You know, it's important. You know, if you've got a medical condition and you might need treatment or you need to see doctors regularly, you need to think about access to hospitals and stuff like that. You know, sick ill, you have an accident or something over there, or you have a heart attack or whatever, you're not got as much chance of surviving, trust me, because the hospital there is damn basic, and I know a couple of nurses that work there, they've said it to me a couple of times, like, if ever you have an accident or seriously, you'll make sure they take you to Dumaguete. How, when you've had an accident, you get to choose where you go, I don't know. I mean, it always seems a strange thing to say. If the ferries aren't running, you're not going to go to Dumaguete, are you? But yeah, you know, unless you're a billionaire who can live anywhere in the world or whatever, you know, and money and anything's no object, you're going to have to make sacrifices. I mean, that's just the way of the world. Saying that, I don't think I've made any sacrifices living here. It's, I mean, it's early days. And like I say, I mean, I'm not naive enough to think, you know, I've cracked everything. I mean, I was really happy in Sigil for the first couple of months. I might feel the same way, you know, in a couple of months living here. But there's a lot worse places to live. And I know a lot of people say there's a lot better places to live. But better in what sense? Better in what sense? I mean, me personally, I'm a weak man. Really, but, you know, I'm just giving you me now. I mean, not general advice, but, you know, I don't like to miss a party. I don't like to miss a party. And that was one of the problems with when I lived in Sigil. There was always something fantastic going on. There was always, like, you know, a party or, you know, a festival or something like that. It was hard to stay in because you think, well, I'm missing this, I'm missing that. Me personally, one of the things I love about, or like so far about living here, is I don't ever feel I'm missing anything here. You know, any night I want to go out for a decent meal with Ellen, by myself, we can do it. Any night when we decide, you know, we want to go and do something tonight, we can do it. There's always somewhere that's got something going on. But it's not fantastic enough to be sitting in the house thinking, I must go out tonight because I'm going to miss this, I've got to go there, oh, I can't miss this. Because that was the trouble when I first came over here. I made the mistake of, like, doing month on, month off, month on, month off, month in Dumaguete, month in Sigil. Now the trouble with that lifestyle is it's hard to get out of party mode as an expat, because you're always thinking, well, if I don't go to the JJ's beach party this week, I won't be able to go for another month, etc. Anyway, I'm making this too much about me now. It should be giving advice to, you know, people that think about coming here. But it does go to prove my point that if you're going to go to a place, you've got to give it time. It's very easy to come to the conclusion that you don't like a place based on a few weeks. A lot of vloggers do it. A lot of vloggers do it. I've seen it. I mean, I like old, well, I don't watch them so much now, and no particular reason, you know, gone off to the guy or whatever. But I'm vlogging a dead horse. He came to Dumaguete. He was here 2 or 3 days, hated the place, left. You know, I can understand exactly where he was coming from, because 2 or 3 days is not enough in Dumaguete. You know, you need to take time in these places, which is why I always said to myself, I would give it 1 to 2 years in the Philippines before I made a decision. And I'm so glad I came with that mindset, because if I hadn't come with that mindset, I'd have been back in Thailand by now. And I'm happy where I am now, for the time being. There is a lot, I know this video's not about Thailand, but there's a lot going on in Thailand at the moment in terms of the new tax laws and what they do in certain legislation and that. It's making me doubt whether I want to go back to Thailand full time in the near future. For the moment, I'm happy here in Dumaguete. When I say Dumaguete, the Dumaguete area, I'm happy in Bangkok. And I would have been happy in Valencia. The point is, it's not a bad place to live. I'll end this video now because I'm starting, or fairly shortly, because I'm going around in circles. Don't become repetitive. But you can get some decent accommodation here. You can get some nice places, reasonably priced. You've got easy access to the Western things you might want in terms of foods and things. You've got easy access to the hospitals. Great jungles and waterfalls. There's some amazing things up there in the mountains in Valencia. And if you want to travel, you're a 45-minute ride to Sigil. You go up to the Mayo port in Sibilan. You're 25-30-minute ferry to Cebu. The connections are good here. It's got an airport. For me now, Dumaguete ticks a lot of boxes. But as I say, there are a lot of expats who live in other parts of the Philippines who talk about the Dumaguete and all this kind of shit. Well, if you're basing life on Dumaguete, on what a few vloggers say, well, I mean, that's a strange way to make a judgment on life. I mean, I don't really care what vloggers say about a place. Not interested in all that tit for tat, bollocks. I don't think there are many better places to live in the Philippines. And the reason I say that, because I'm not naive to the fact that I haven't done much travelling. I have got to know a few people over the last few months who have been in the Philippines a long time and have been to a lot of places. I'm not going to say the names of these people because I've asked them to do videos before and they don't want to do videos, so fair enough, I'm not going to, I won't mention them, the names, not the first names I mean anything to you. But I was talking with the one not so long ago up in Valencia, and I said to him, I'm thinking of travelling around and, trying a few months here and a few months there, and he said, you won't find anywhere better. It's all the same. There is no fantastic place in the Philippines. It's not like some place in the world like Thailand, we can go somewhere, God, this is amazing. It's all kind of the same. Some places are better than others, but when you put it all together, you won't get a much better place than this. And I found that disappointing when they were saying that, because I thought, that's not, I'm looking for Nirvana. I want to travel around and find this, this wonderful, wonderful place that I've been looking for my whole life. But now I'm taking comfort in it. Because for me, at this stage in my life, it's very much, I'm getting to the stage where I want to stop being the grass is always greener. Because I keep travelling, I'm travelling like a rolling stone, I want to go here, I can never settle anywhere. It's why I've been doing what I'm doing for so long in terms of travelling around Asia. But now, I just want to slow it down. Because a few people have said in the comments, and I think they're damn right when I had that trouble in Sigil, happiness is in your heart. It's not the place where you're living. You could be living in the most fantastic place in the world, but be going through a totally shit time in your life, be totally depressed. Equally, if you're in the right frame of mind, you can be somewhere bang average and happy. Because at the end of the day, happiness is a state of mind. And if you're constantly, I'm not knocking anyone who is doing that, I'm saying for myself, if you're constantly looking for somewhere better, that's not necessarily the best way, I think, to look at life. Sometimes you've got to stop and think, no, I'm going to make a go of it here. So look forward to the next video in a month's time once I'm off somewhere else. Because it could happen. But anyway, no, that was the purpose of making this video. Don't know if I'll ever publish it, because I've just gone round in circles here, repeating the same thing as I often do, but if you've seen this, I have published it. And I hope, if you're thinking about Dumaguete, give it a try. Don't be put off by the naysayers and all the people saying it's this and it's that and it's this and that. Because I tell you now, and I say this with a degree of confidence, a lot of the ones who are saying that have never really given it a try. Because I say to them now, first month I was here, hated the place. Second month, I thought, it's better than I thought it was. I made a video, Dumaguete's not as bad as I thought it was. That wasn't a title, but along those lines. The third time I come back to Dumaguete, I'm like, yeah, there's a lot more than I thought, but still 100% not for me. Now, 2 more months in Dumaguete, or the Dumaguete area, I'm like, I'm happy to say I can't think of anywhere else I would rather be at the moment. And I never thought I'd say that. I'm enjoying life here, enjoying it. Wouldn't have rented the place for a year. As I say, in a year it might change, but there are not many places I've been to since I've been an expat and travelling around where I have felt as comfortable as I do here now. And that's just me. Again, I'm going to go a little bit longer. I was going to end it there, but because this video is not just about me. The point is the expats here seem genuinely very happy. I've interviewed a few over the last couple of weeks, and all of them say they've travelled around the Philippines. They've all been here, they've all been there, and Dumaguete was the place for them. I know there's call it snobbery or whatever, but I've met a few expats over in Sikkim who hate Dumaguete. You know, the place is full of cockroaches and blah, blah, blah. When I said I was moving back, some people were like, you know, power to you, drive lentils, why are you going back? It's a dirty city and it's blah, 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 blah. It's not the nicest city in the world, but you don't have to live there. I personally would not want to live in Dumaguete. I would not go back to Sibilan again. But Valencia, Bacon, you know, Darwin. I've been to Darwin a couple of times. I've gone up there to a couple of the resorts there when there's been power cuts. Didn't really love it. But then we went to Bacon to see some friends a couple of months ago. Didn't love it then. Now I've been here a few weeks, I love it. Maybe I feel the same about Darwin. You know, until you've been to a place, you just don't know. So anyway, I am going to end now because I'm going around in circles. But all I'm saying is, if you're thinking about it, give it a try. And if you are thinking about possible places to live, you need to give it time. You will never know until you've been to a place, I certainly think, for a couple of months before you can start to come to one conclusion. You know, it's the idea of going there for a couple of weeks and then deciding whether a place is good or not. Yeah, you'll get a gut feeling. I got a gut feeling about Dumaguete, but my gut feeling was wrong. Anyway, I am going to end it now because I've gone on too long. Hopefully you liked the video. If you did, smash the like button. If you subscribe to the channel, it would make me very happy. Whether you do, whether you don't, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, stay safe, be lucky.